Gonzaga, UCLA. And this is a really good matchup. I can tell you what, if Jalen Clark were playing and the Bruins were at full strength, I would be all over UCLA.
What do you think they'd be? Maybe like 3.5?
Probably. And here's Jalen Clark's the type of guy, he can lock down anybody. And you kind of have to gang defend when you're talking about Drew Timme. And you know that Zags are going to want to go to Timme in the low post or around the lane anytime they need a bucket. And if you got Clark out there, you get another great defender, maybe the best defensive player in college basketball. He's not out there. So that complicates the matchup for me when I break this down. I do think UCLA should be a slight favorite, but, man, I'm a little bit torn on this. Since February 1st, Gonzaga, the number one offensive efficiency team in college basketball, UCLA, an elite defense, top 5, but they're missing their best defensive player. So how do you see this Zags-Bruins matchup in Vegas?
And I know when you look at last night's game, which Gonzaga wins 84-81, you're going to see, okay, this was a one-man show for the Zags. Drew Timme had 28. I thought the Gonzaga guards were really good last night, and they've kind of been, that's why I think a lot of us, including myself, raise his hand, have been a little bit lukewarm on this team, knowing that they still have potential, that they're always there, they're always dangerous, yada, yada, yada. But these guards they haven't necessarily lived up to preview. They don't have a talent like a Jalen Suggs. Mm-hmm. They don't have an Andrew Nembhard, or they don't have like that dead-eye three-point shooter like Dan Dickow was, or somebody like that, Blake Steff, Derek Ravio, another one. But these guards really held up last night, and I think they were actually very good defensively. They made TCU work. Mike Miles ended up with 24, but they made them work, and they got contributions from all of them in terms of Rasir Bolton had 17, Malachi Smith with 11 off the bench. Hickman didn't give him much offensively, but did give him a lot defensively. So, their guards, Julian Strother, we know, has kind of stepped up, even though he only had 10, but he had 9 big rebounds last night. So Gonzaga seems like they are starting to figure it out a little bit late.
Kind of a sleeper team. I mean, Gonzaga's come into the tournament with a lot of hype in recent years, and I think a lot of people disappointed, felt like the Zags underachieved in the tournament. I'm not sure if that's the case, Wes. They've been to 2 championship games and have lost. Of course, last year they lost as the number 1 seed. In fact, they got knocked off by Eric Musselman in Arkansas last year as the number 1 seed. But, hey, that's going to happen. Could the Zags kind of surprise some people here when they're flying a little bit under the radar and get to the Final Four? Are they good enough defensively? I think that's my biggest question, because offensively I think they're good enough. Are they good enough defensively?
Yeah, and that's why I've been a little bit lukewarm on them. They're only 75th in terms of defensive efficiency, but this team has won 11 in a row. They're number 1 in effective field goal percentage. They don't turn the ball over, 12th best in the country, only 14.7% of the time, 10th in three-point shooting, 38.4%, and obviously Drew Timme, we were talking about him last night. He doesn't look like he's a great athlete, but he really knows how to move his feet. Mm-hmm. He knows how to get in good position, and he no shot fakes and up and under moves.
High IQ player.
Exactly.
He's figured out how to maximize what he's got. And Drew Timme is actually not as old as he looks. I think he's 22, and he seems like he's been in college basketball.
He got that old man game though.
Old school, no doubt about it. All right, so I'm a little bit torn on this game. I think live betting might be the way to go.
Yeah.
When you have these short numbers, UCLA -2, a lot of times you just live bet the game, you're going to get a better number.
Visit VSiN.com to get current odds, listen for free, find showtimes, and download VSiN sports betting podcasts.